Fair warning, same as last week. I'm picking a side today, and I'll be straight with you. This side's harder for me to argue. I'm a realtor. I work with homeowners. Most of you watching this own property in Florida and stand to gain directly if this thing passes. Making the case for no doesn't come natural from my perspective, which is exactly why you should listen to it. Next week, or last week, depending on when you're catching this, I made the equally strong case for yes. Watch both before you decide. Today, we're voting no, and here's why. I'm Tom McNamara. This is the Florida Real Estate Insider. Let's go. There are three kinds of people that will likely vote no, not just one. And each one's got a completely different, solid reason that has nothing to do with being uninformed or cynical or not understanding the bill. These are real positions held by people who've actually done the math. Keep this all in your thoughts as you listen to the whole video. First, the person who thinks the government deserves or needs the money. Let's start here, because honestly, the comments section treats this guy like he's an idiot. He's not. Local government isn't some line item you can just wave away. It's a fire truck. It's the pothole that actually gets fixed. It's the guy from code enforcement that stopped your neighbor from building a monstrosity in the front yard. And right now, the only way that gets paid for at the local level is property taxes. This amendment cuts a real chunk of homestead property tax revenue with zero state backfill. The original plan had a trust fund to hold counties harmless through the transition. That got stripped out before the final vote. So cities and counties eat the hit, and the bill doesn't tell them how to replace it. If you genuinely believe your local government is providing services worth what you're paying, and that cutting their revenue with no replacement plan is just irresponsible no matter how good it feels on your own bill, that is a coherent position. It's defensible. Voting no is the fiscally conservative move there, not the other way around. That money has to come from somewhere. Fees, service cuts, or millage adjustments on whoever still got taxable value are likely results. And fees are flat. A $300 garbage fee hits a $150,000 house exactly the same as a $1.5 million house. Property taxes scale with value. Fees don't. If you think that trade-off's worse than what we've got now, vote no. The renter. Here's a group of people that won't benefit at all. Renters in Florida pay property taxes. Not directly, but they pay them. Every landlord in this state factors their tax bill into your rent. You're subsidizing property taxes through your monthly payment, whether you realize it or not. What does this amendment actually give you? A line saying the legislature may provide some property tax relief to permanent resident renters. May, not will. Discretionary, unfunded, might never happen at all. Meanwhile, if counties respond to lost homestead revenue with new flat fees, guess who pays those? You do. Same as the homeowner next door, except you've got none of the exemption and all of the risk in the fee. And here's where it actually gets a little unfair. This thing needs 60% of all Florida voters, not just homeowners. Renters are being asked to vote yes on a constitutional amendment that hands homeowners real money, hands renters a maybe, and might shift costs onto flat fees that hit renters and homeowners exactly the same. If you're a renter, voting no is voting your actual economic interest. Don't let anybody tell you anything different. One caveat though, and it's a real one, renting is usually not a permanent thing. Most people rent at some point before they own, and plenty of people rent again somewhere in between owning. If you're planning to buy a house in Florida someday, even 5 or 10 years out, voting no on the exemption that'll eventually apply to you is voting no against your future self. You'd be cutting off your nose to spite your face. If renting's genuinely your long-term plan, the economic interest argument holds completely. If you're renting because you're just not there, think about where you expect to be when this actually matters. The all or nothing voter. This one's got my respect, and it's also the one I'm going to push back on the hardest. The school portion of your property tax bill runs anywhere from a third to almost half, depending on your county. This amendment doesn't touch it at all. The non-school side hits zero for a lot of homesteads, and the school line sits there right where it is, free to keep climbing. So, what you're being asked to vote yes on is locking the smaller part of your bill into the Constitution, while the bigger part stays completely untouched and totally free to grow. If your position is that a partial relief locked into the Constitution is harder to fix later than a failed amendment that forces the legislature back with school taxes finally on the table, that is a serious argument. Constitutional amendments are a lot harder to change than regular statutes. Once this passes, the school tax fight gets harder, not easier, because the urgency drops the second homeowners get something. A no vote doesn't mean no relief ever. It means go back and do it right. Put school taxes on the table. Build an actual revenue replacement plan. Give us a real timeline on full elimination instead of a constitutional IOU. If you believe the pressure of a failed vote forces a stronger bill, voting no is voting for the better outcome, not the faster one, the better one. The honest math? Here's where I actually land on all three. The fiscal responsibility voter's right that the revenue gap is real and unresolved. He's wrong if he thinks a no vote fixes local government spending. It doesn't. It just leaves the current system exactly where it is, waste and all. The renter is right that this does almost nothing for him directly. He is in the toughest spot of anyone voting on this in November. The all or nothing voter's right that school taxes are the bigger fight and this doesn't touch them. He's betting that a no vote gets a better bill on a faster clock, and nobody can promise him that. None of these are bad arguments. All three land on a no vote with completely different reasons. A no vote isn't a vote for higher property taxes. Your bill doesn't go up because you voted no. You're voting on whether this specific amendment passes, not on your current tax rate. What a no vote does is kill this amendment, kills the constitutional mandate towards full elimination, and sends the legislature back without a win on the board. Whether that gets you something better or gets you nothing for years comes down to whether Tallahassee tries again and how hard Floridians push them to. That's the risk of a no vote, and you should go in knowing it. Last week, I told you a yes vote is the first yard gained. Keep fighting from there. Today, I'm telling you a no vote is a message sent. Go back and do it right. Both of those are true. It just depends on which one's actually you. Watch both of these before you decide, and run your own numbers while you're at it. Show up to your commission meetings either way, because that fight doesn't end in November, no matter how this goes. If this kind of honest breakdown is what you've been looking for, hit subscribe and tell me in the comments which of these three no voters you are. Or did last week's yes case change your mind? This has been the Florida Real Estate Insider. I'm still Tom McNamara. I'll see you in the next one.